Court dismisses Economic and Financial Crimes Commission's case against Rochas Okorocha. General Officer Commanding 8 Division asked troubled communities in Zamfara State to defend citizens against bandits. Olodo communities in Ibadan threatened by flood seek quick government intervention. And on the foreign scene, South Africa deploys army over burning of trucks, braces for unrest over ex-president's court case. These are the headlines on Trust News Update this hour. Thanks for joining. I am Ayuba Ilya. And now the details. Justice Yusuf Halilu of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory has discharged Senator Rochas Okorocha from corruption charges filed against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. This is the third time Okorocha has been freed by court in respect of alleged fraud and corruption said to have been committed while he was the governor of Imo State between 2011 and 2019. Justice Halilu on Friday freed the former governor from the charge after dismissing the charges filed by the anti-graft agency for being an abuse of court processes. According to the court, it was wrong for the EFCC to continue to file similar charges against a defendant in different courts, particularly when a court of competent jurisdiction had already decided on the matter. District heads and communities in Zamfara State have been told to form groups that will protect their communities when there is a distress call before the arrival of troops to the troubled scene of bandit attack. The General Officer Commanding 8 Division of the Nigerian Army, Sokoto, Major General Godwin Mutkut, gave the advice while speaking to journalists in Gusau, the state capital, shortly after the inauguration of the Regimental Sergeant Major RSM House at the Gusau Cantonment. The report.
Division 8 of the Nigerian Army, Sokoto, says the troops have been going to troubled places like Zurmi, Shinkafi, Tsafe, Dansado, and other troubled areas in Zamfara State, in spite of the rainy season dislodging terrorists from their hideouts. He says the military will not negotiate with bandits, but will rather go after them in their hideouts. The GOC advises bandits to come out immediately from their hideouts and surrender to the troops, as that remains the only option available to them.
Before now, there were plenty places would not enter. But as it is now, despite the rain, we are going to places that the bandits ab initio believe we don't have the means of entering those places. There are places surrounding the whole of this Zamfara. All the bushes, nooks and crannies, we've been going there and we've been giving them bloody nose.
Speaking, the commander of 1 Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Gusau, Brigadier General Sani Ahmed, assures the officers and men of the brigade that more infrastructure is coming to better their lives and to also boost their morale.
Other RSM's residents will follow suit, but I tell you, the resolve of the Chief of Army Staff towards enhancing the welfare of our personnel is going to be enduring. And not just the officers' accommodation, not just the regimental sergeant major's accommodation, but even the men. It is a feat that has been achieved in almost all the formations and units of the Nigerian Army.
The GOC of the 8th Division of the Nigerian Army, Sokoto, says the troops have taken the fight to the bandits with a view to restoring peace and stability so that farmers can return to their farms.
Operatives of the Zonal Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have arrested 13 Chinese nationals over offences bordering on illegal mining activities in Ilorin, Kwara State. The offence is contrary to and punishable under Section 1, Sub 8B of the Miscellaneous Offences Act, Cap M17, 1983. The suspects, comprising of a female and 12 males, were arrested at the government-reserved area, GRA Ilorin, following credible intelligence about their activities. Briefing journalist, the Ilorin Zonal Head of the EFCC, Michael Nzekwe said that prior to their arrest, discreet investigation on the activities of illegal mining operations in Kwara State revealed that the operations have different illegal mining sites in almost all the 16 local government areas of the state. The suspects were also arrested for illegal production of marbles and were arrested at a house near the office.
We arrested some illegal miners, some Chinese national. We got some credible intelligence, and then we've been on surveillance for a while, and then we were able to move in, and then we have them with us. And we are ensuring that the due processes of the law is followed by creation of law, so we follow strictly the law. Recall last week, the acting chairman was talking about the dangers of illegal mining in one of the trainings that we had. And you see, this is exactly what it is.
Residents of some communities in Olodo area of Ibadan have sent a Save Our Soul message to the Oyo State government. This is because the only available bridge connecting Araromi with other neighboring communities has been cut off, resulting to negative impact on economic activities in the area. The report.
The only link bridge connecting Araromi and 6 other communities has been cut off by flooding more than 10 years ago. These residents claim that their locations in the Egbeda local government area of Oyo State have suffered more than a decade of neglect and untold hardship. Government's continued neglect, they say, that paralyzed economic activities, and they want all concerned authorities to come to the rescue.
It's a big challenge to us. It got to a stage that when there is heavy rain, some of us will stay outside for 2 or 3 days for the river to subsidize before we get to our various houses. We have been calling on the state government. The local government is aware, and likewise Ibadan Urban Flood Management. All these bodies are already aware of what we are facing here.
We've suffered a lot, and we've done a lot. Going to the secretariat, contacting the government, and so on. Even Engineer Seyi Makinde came here in 2021 with his people, and up to now, nothing has been done physically. Maybe paperwork has gone.
In recent past, residents had restored to self-help and had constructed this pedestrian bridge, but even this effort has not gone far enough. Many residents have therefore fled the locality for safer climes.
We want the government to help us to do the bridge in time. They have been coming since. We have not seen the impact from them.
Full to this place, and it affects my house. So all the blocks we used to do the gutter, they have breaking it. They just are repairing it now.
Araromi is also plagued by a poor road network, lack of electricity supply, and absence of potable drinking water.
A lot of lands has gone, and properties, because rain will not fall, but you just see water, unexpected places. Where it is come to this area, we don't know.
There's no way we can do it. All of us, we are parking here. There's no way to go up to go down to our residence. So we normally park here. So in security aspect, we don't have any security. We don't have anybody to put there to secure our vehicle.
For life to return to normal, these Nigerians feel that the government must create a conducive environment where these residents can achieve their full potential. For now, residents of Araromi continue to wait on government, but their patience is fast running out.
Meanwhile, the corpse of an unidentified woman was on Thursday recovered by personnel of the Kwara State Fire Service from Asa River along Emirs Road in Ilorin, the state capital. The lifeless body of the yet-to-be-identified woman, about 46 years old, was discovered in the evening. According to the spokesman of the State Fire Service, Hassan Adekule, a police officer, SP Dolapo, of B Division Police Station Ilorin alerted the State Fire Service, who came to the scene of the incident. The statement explained that the joint effort highlights the significance of interagency collaboration in dealing with emergencies effectively. The Presidential Election Petition Court has reserved judgment in the petition by the Allied People's Movement. APM is seeking the nullification of Tinubu's election on the grounds that his running mate, Kashim Shettima, was not qualified to contest, having allegedly engaged in double nomination. After parties adopted their final written addresses, the chairman of the panel, Justice Haruna Tsammani, announced that judgment was reserved until a date to be communicated to parties. Justice Tsammani added that the court plans to deliver judgment in the petition by the APM on the same day with those of the People's Democratic Party and Labour Party. Respondents in the petition are the Independent National Electoral Commission, the APC, Tinubu, Shettima and Kabiru Masari, who acted as APC's placeholder before Shettima's nomination. The APM's petition is anchored on the sole ground of non-eligibility of the APC presidential ticket, wherein they have raised the issue of the placeholder, Kabiru Masari, as the vice presidential nominee of the APC and his eventual replacement with Kashim Shettima. The Ebonyi State government has approved a salary increase of 10,000 naira for the state workers as a palliative to cushion the effects of the removal of subsidy on premium motor spirits, popularly known as petrol. The Ebonyi Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Engineer Jude Okpo, disclosed this while briefing journalists in Abakaliki, the state capital, on Friday. Okpo, while speaking on the outcome of the State Executive Council meeting chaired by the Ebonyi Governor, Francis Nwufuru, said that the government has also approved the recruitment of 1,454 workers in the state. According to him, the State Executive Council also deliberated on the crisis in some parts of the state and set up a committee with a view to resolving them as soon as possible. Okpo added that the committee has been tasked to look into the crisis in Ohuauku local government area, Onitsha local government area, Eza South and Iko local government area, among other areas in the state that has a crisis. Kano State government has faulted the distribution of the federal government's allocation of 500 billion naira through the Bank of Industry to support small-scale industries across the country's geopolitical zones. Governor Abba Yusuf gave the complaint during a meeting with representatives from the Kano Cooperative Society at the Government House on Thursday evening. He revealed that the distribution was heavily skewed, with Lagos State receiving 47% of the allocation, followed by South-South Zone with 17%, and other regions receiving significantly lower percentages. Yusuf described the distribution mode as unfair, unconstitutional, and illegal. He challenged on all relevant authorities and members of National Assembly to rectify the situation and take appropriate action against those responsible. He said that the state government will support cooperative societies in their efforts to alleviate poverty and regain their influence. You're watching the news updates on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we take a look at love affair turned sour. Details and more after the break.
How do they come to Nigeria? They have to come through Niger Republic.
Welcome to News Hour on Trust TV.
The Coalition of Northern Groups, CNG,
Petition followed consultations and meetings.
Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I am
Where do they get what? How do they survive?
Kidnapping is just an extension of catch rustling.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Here's a look at the top stories. Court dismisses Economic and Financial Crimes Commission case against Rochas Okorocha. General Officer commanding 8th Division asked troubled communities in Zamfara State to defend citizens against bandits. In other news, police in Rivers State have arrested one Michael Charles, also known as Tangot Ekweme, for allegedly selling his 3 children. This follows the command's busting of a child trafficking ring operating in the state. Parading the suspects at the old GRA police station, the police public relations officer of the command, Grace Iringe Koko, said that they arrested a number of suspects involved in the trading of minors in the state. Charles, who is one of the suspects paraded and the father of the trafficked children, admitted to selling them, blaming his action on poverty and inability to fend for the children. Others involved in the racket include a medical practitioner and a former counselor. Speaking on behalf of the mother of the traded kids, Janet Igwe from Omudiogo, Omohua, local government area of the state, said that her son-in-law has been selling the children born by her daughter while telling her the children died at birth. Police in Adamawa State have arrested a 20-year-old girl, Blessing Ben, suspected of killing and dumping the corpse of her newborn baby boy inside a dustbin. The police command said that the girl and her boyfriend, Luka Iliasu, are under investigation for the alleged crime. Blessing was put in a family way by her boyfriend, Luka, of police barracks in Yola, Adamawa State, after they fell in love about 2 years ago. The girl, who resides at Jambutu in Yola North local government area, delivered on Saturday, July 8th, and dumped the baby in a dustbin in their compound. However, the suspect has vehemently denied killing the baby while being interrogated by the image maker of the command, SP Suleiman Yahaya Ngoroje. She said that she had delivered successfully without the help of anybody and that the baby came out lifeless and was left with no option than to throw the corpse in a dustbin. She said that she has been living with her aunt and that even her aunt did not know that she was pregnant for 9 months until when she gave birth. The suspect further narrated that her aunt was out of town at the time she delivered, saying that when she had discovered that it was a stillbirth, she kept the corpse for 2 days, after which she dumped it inside a dustbin. Still on crime reports, police in Osun State have arrested a 17-year-old girl, Victory Ahiante, for allegedly conniving with her male friends to rob her lover. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Kehinde Longe, said that the girl and her suspected accomplices robbed the man to the tune of 1.5 million naira. Hamid Oegbadi files in the report.
The suspect, a 17-year-old girl, Ahiante Victory, met a Lagos-based lover on the social media. She allegedly lured the man to Ikire town in Osun State from Lagos and conspired with her male friends to rob the man. The other suspects, Adeleke Opeyemi and Ariyo Abayomi, withdrew 1.5 million naira from the bank account of their victim.
So he came, so after I hung up the call, so when my boyfriend heard everything, because I put the phone on speaker, after my boyfriend heard everything, so he was telling me that like he wants to know the guy, like for the guy to be bold like that, like I was thinking my boyfriend wanted to tell him that after the guy, this guy my babe, something like that. So not there when they collected money from the guy, because I went to my instead there, but I heard they collected 1.4 million. I'm 17 years old.
The Commissioner of Police in the state, Kehinde Longe, condemned the action of the girl and her male friends. He said they will be charged to court.
A young man of age 29 met a young lady on the social media, probably on a dating site, I wouldn't know. He got interested in that lady. He had to leave Lagos to come down to Ikire in Osun State. Because I think the young man fell in love with the lady. He lodged in an hotel. The lady was able to bring him to come to her house. In the process, the lady and her cohorts arrested him, alleged that he wanted to rape the young lady. In the process, his phones were taken, his ATM card taken. He was stripped naked, humiliated. He had to be forced to divulge his PIN number, and instrumentally they withdrew 100,000. And when they knew there was sufficient money in there, before he knew it, 1.4 million was removed.
The police chief advised Nigerians to be careful with who they interact with on the social media so as not to fall victim of unscrupulous people. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
And in business news, 11 successor electricity companies have applied for a review of electricity tariffs, the federal government has said. In a notice published the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission on Friday, the federal government said that the request for rate review is premised on the need to incorporate changes in macroeconomic parameters. In the notice, NERG stated that DISCO's request for rate review is in pursuant to Section 116, subsection 1 and 2, A and B of the Electricity Act 2023 and other extant rules. A recent attempt by some electricity distribution companies to hike tariff from July 1 had caused uproar and met strong resistance from Nigerians. The Commission called on all members of the public and stakeholders to send their comments or representations before the close of business on 20th of July. And on the foreign scene, South Africa has deployed the army in 4 of its provinces on Friday after at least 21 trucks carrying goods were set on fire on national roads in various parts of the country over the past week. Authorities have not established the motive for the attacks, but Police Minister Bheki Cele said that there is a possibility of economic sabotage against South Africa. He did not say who might be behind the campaign, but police are hunting for at least 12 people believed to be linked to the attacks. Sele said that there was no evidence that the truck burning was connected to the week-long violence and arrest in July 2021, when more than 350 people were killed and businesses were looted in a wave of protests sparked by the jailing of former President Jacob Zuma for contempt of court. Soldiers were deployed in the northern provinces of Limpopo and Mpumalanga, the eastern province of KwaZulu-Natal, where Zuma is from, and the central province of Free State. The army will support police in their response to the truck attacks, the South African Department of Defense said. Sele said that 21 trucks had been burned down since Sunday in the Limpopo, Mpumalanga and KwaZulu-Natal provinces. Sunday, when the truck burning apparently started, was the second anniversary of the start of the 2021 violence. Authorities have not reported any deaths or serious injuries related to the torching of the trucks. And in sports news, the Super Eagles will begin their quest for a place at the 2026 FIFA World Cup in November. The three-time African champions will battle South Africa, Benin Republic, Zimbabwe, Rwanda and Lesotho for a place at the Mondial. The Super Eagles will play their first two games in the qualifiers between November 13 and 21 rather. Now the third and fourth matches in the qualifiers will be played between June and 11th of 2024. The 6 other rounds of matches in the group will be played between March and October 2025. In all, the Super Eagles will play 10 matches in the group. The first place team in the group will earn automatic qualification to the quadrennial event, which will be hosted by the United States of America, Canada and Mexico. Nigeria failed to qualify for the last edition of the World Cup hosted by Qatar. The three-time African champions lost to eternal rivals Ghana in the playoffs. And that's a wrap on the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.